Good morning, everybody. Good morning. It's great to be here. In case you didn't know it, I'm Freebo. This is my partner, Alice Howe. You know who you are, hopefully. We're going to start off with a song I wrote some time ago. It's called To the Light. I've heard it said the earth looks peaceful when it's seen from outer space. Such a pretty place for you and me. How do we hear the wisdom of the crickets in the night, singing out of sight from way down here, where there's only right or wrong? Why can't we just try to get along? I've heard it said there's 100 billion galaxies of light lighting up the night for you and me. We could be just as peaceful as the earth from outer space, living in a place of harmony. Oh, such a lovely sound. Why do we put one another down? Just consider that there is no wrong or right, and consider that there is no black or white. There are always shades of gray to help us find our way to the light. To the light. I've heard it said every culture has a history in stone, dances of their own they like to do. Wouldn't you like to be accepted just the way you are? Is that really hard to see? Couldn't we find a way to understand and blow away that line in the sand? Just consider that there is no wrong or right, and consider that there is no black or white. There are always shades of gray to help us find our way to the light. To the light. To the light. Dee dee dee. 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 There are always shades of gray to help us find our way to the light. 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 I've heard it said the earth looks peaceful when it's seen from outer space. Such a pretty place for you and me. 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 For you and me.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Utica. I'm Jeff Chard. I'm part of the worship committee. See, a lot of you were here last night, and I see a couple of people are visiting for the first time. We just want everyone to know you are welcome here. Whatever faiths you have known, you are welcome here. And each week, we acknowledge that UU Utica is situated on the ancestral lands of the Oneida people. For folks who are with us today for the first time, under the clock, there is a form that you can fill out if you want to get our church newsletter. If you're online today, you'll find a link in the chat. We invite you to stay after the service for conversation and refreshments. Our guest speaker today is Freebo. And again, I see a lot of you were here last night. I'm not going to tell you anything about Freebo. His music speaks for itself. Our guest musicians are Freebo and Alice Howe. I asked Freebo and Alice to leave their CDs set up from last night, just in case anyone is interested in those. There is a table in back. And we're using this PA, which is why I'm not at the podium, if anybody wonders or cares. For our call to worship this morning, two thoughts about music. One from Jack Kerouac, who said, "The only truth is music. Music blends with the heartbeat universe, and we forget the brain beat." And from Bob Marley, who said, "One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain." Freebo, Alice, will you hit us with music, please?
I'm going to do one song this morning at Freebo's request, and this is a song called "With You by My Side." And although it wasn't originally written in this with this sense in mind, I think it could apply to, your higher power, the you, that is. With you by my side, I can do no wrong. You make it easy. Your love keeps me strong. Baby, I know you show me the way. When you took my hand, believe what I say. There is no mountain, there is no tide that can change the way I feel with you by my side. Grit and grace, that's what I see. Your heart is so strong, you let me be free. I feel the power when love's in control. You know I surrender body and soul. With you by my side, I can do no wrong. You make it easy, your love keeps me strong. Baby, I know you show me the way. When you took my hand, believe what I say. There is no mountain, there is no tide that can change the way I feel with you by my side. You fill me up, I'm begging for more. In some other life I knew you before. I see the light, it's here in your eyes. There's nothing nothing to hide with you by my side. Wherever I go, I know I feel understood. This is a dream, it seems. How did it get so good? With you by my side, I can do no wrong. You make it easy. Your love keeps me strong. Baby, I know you show me the way. When you took my hand, believe what I say.
There is no mountain, there is no tide
that can change the way I feel with you by my side. With you by my side, yeah. You make it easy. I can do no wrong. Ooh.
The words for our chalice lighting this morning are by Marnie Singer, who writes, "The chalice is the container, the space where the musicians and the listeners gather. The oil is the fuel, the hours of practice, and the life experiences of everyone in the room. The wick is the instruments and vocal cords through which the music will flow. And the flame is the music which is created as if by magic. When the instruments are lifted, the breath is inhaled and the downbeat is nodded. May this flame ignite the music within us all." We invited Freebo here this morning, and Alice. We invited Freebo to talk about his spiritual journey through music. So, Freebo, I'm just going to turn it over to you for a while.
Thank you, Jeff. Good morning, everybody. It's great to be here. Oh, nice response. Thank you. My spiritual journey through music. Well, I guess first of all, I need to define what I consider a spiritual journey. You know, we hear that we are spiritual beings having a human experience, and I think of spirit as and spiritual as being connected to all things, to everyone and all things. It's what is my part in this continuum. I think the more I connect to it, to everyone and to everything, and realize that I am a part of it, an integral part of it, that I think that's where I connect to my spirituality. And so in terms of the spiritual journey, I think it's a question of how you, or how we become more complete as human beings, and how we relate to each other and to the world that we're in, and how it all works. And that really is a lifetime journey. And so I'd like to share a little bit of mine and how I came to be who I am, for better, for worse. And I'd like to share this song I wrote, and there's a little bit of it's kind of a sing-along you guys can do. I was born into a boundary, someone else's dream. half awake and headed to a dead-end destiny. Then the wind came out of nowhere, caught me by surprise. It woke me from my slumber and it opened up my eyes. Call me freedom, riding with the wind. I can't afford to waste another day. Call me freedom, when I pass this way again, I'll meet you and we'll make the music play. We'll make the music play. Here's your part. Singing, whoa, whoa. Let me hear that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Harmony. Whoa. Well, it ain't about the money, and it ain't about the fame. You'll never find your happiness in someone else's game. So I'll play a ukulele, and I'll strum this old guitar, and we'll sing this song together while we're riding in my car. Call me freedom, riding with the wind. I can't afford to waste another day. Call me freedom, when I pass this way again, I'll meet you and we'll make the music play. We'll make the music play. Singing, whoa, 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 you sound so good. Whoa, whoa, one more time. Whoa, whoa. Thank you. Good job. That's kind of my story. It started, I was born into a boundary. You know, it was, what was my job? My job was to be the person that my parents are grooming me to be. And I was groomed to be a doctor or a lawyer or a businessman. And my parents went to college. And so I was expected to go to college. You know, they ask you when you're 5 years old, what are you going to be when you grow up? If I was really smart, I would have said, I'm 5 years old. I have no idea. But I wasn't that smart then, so I just went, okay, what am I supposed to be? I said, well, a doctor or a lawyer. My father was a lawyer. I like to think of the last honest lawyer. No disparagement to any of you lawyers out there. And all my uncles were businessmen, so I thought, okay, I'll be a doctor. It's a noble thing to be and heal people. So I set off to be a doctor. Not really. I set off to be a football player. I grew up in eastern Pennsylvania, coal country, and football was king. And I said, if I'm going to make it in this town, that's what I got to be. I got to be a football player. And so I actually became a very good football player, and that was my focus, much more than academics. And I sailed through high school, and I had good grades because I was a fairly smart guy, and it was a public high school, and I went off to a good college in pre-med, and they stuck me with calculus and chemistry and physics and biology all in the first semester. And I had a tough time with that. I was not focused on it. I was not prepared. So the end of that first semester, that first year, that was the end of my medical career. And so I kind of bounced around, and I kind of went from kid most likely to succeed to what I consider I was a kind of a failure. I was a failure in their eyes. I was trying to find myself. I was trying to live their dream. I was trying to go from the person I was groomed to be to the person I was meant to be. And that's really important. How do you find out who you're meant to be? And I think that happens through mistakes, really. I think we kind of go through life. You don't set out to make mistakes, but we make mistakes. And I'd like to say the only real mistake is the one you don't learn from. I made a lot of mistakes. I think I learned a lot. So I kind of bounced around, and I kind of bounced from school to school. I wound up in a school in Germany, and my roommate was a fellow named Jerry Donahue, who was a very good guitar player. And I had picked up a little bit of guitar. I'd always been good at music, to be honest with you. My mother, in terms of turning me into being creating a well-rounded human being, had me take piano lessons and, tried to turn me on to art and various things. I'm really grateful for that. So I took piano lessons as a kid, and that really set up my basic musicality. I had no desire to be a musician. Again, I was supposed to be a doctor. Musician was not one of the options that was given to me at 5 years old and beyond. And but I always liked music. There was always music around the house, and I always related to it. I learned a couple chords on the ukulele at one point. My dad showed me, and I went to high school. My mom said, "I'd like you to take an instrument in the band." "Mom, I'm going to play football." But, well, like, take an instrument. I really want you to do it. So I chose the tuba because my favorite record as a kid was Tubby the Tuba. And it was all about this tuba and his journey and how he felt disrespected because he never got to play the melody. Maybe I related to that. I don't know. But so I played tuba in a high school band. I was good at it. I got into the district band and the state band. I hardly practiced. I didn't realize that I had this gift for music. I just kind of took it for granted. I think we all have a gift of some sort. And I think that part of that journey, a spiritual journey, finding out who we are, is to maybe look in the mirror and say, what gifts do I have? How can I use these gifts to make a life for myself, something that I enjoy? So I was always good at music, but I always kind of discounted it and pushed it aside because I'm supposed to be something that they outside want me to be, as opposed to me inside. I like to say it's an inside job, and it is. For all of us, it's an inside job, and that's the challenge. That's the spiritual journey. Is how do you figure that out? Who am I, and how do I fit into this whole thing? So I just kind of bounced around. I wound up in this school in Germany. I had learned to play guitar. Everything. What John Lennon famously said: "Life's what happens when you're busy making other plans." So working backward, I learned to play guitar. I was at a summer camp. I was a counselor between junior and senior high school, and one of the counselors there was a Philadelphia folkie. She played guitar. I had learned a couple chords on ukulele years before. And so she showed me some chords on the guitar. I could just relate these 4 strings or the ukulele. Just add these 2 on the guitar. So she showed me the basic 5, 6 chords of guitar and the basic strum. And that's all I knew. I went back. I told my high school band director, and he said, "Hey, we've got an old Martin guitar sitting in the closet. You can have it for your senior year." Okay. Life's what happens when you're busy making other plans. So now I have a guitar, and I figure, okay, so I spent some time during my senior year playing it. I'd go to parties, and I'd kind of accompany people, playing songs. Wasn't singing on my own. I didn't think I had a great voice. I sang in the choir, but that's singing with other people, singing my bass parts. Bass, I love bass. And then so I meet this guy, Jerry Donahue, a couple years later in this school in Germany. And he pulls out his guitar and he starts playing, and I don't have a guitar, so I went down the hall. I borrowed one from a kid, and I started playing along with him, just jamming. He stopped playing. He said, "How'd you learn to do that?" I said, "What?" He said, "Play those bass things that you're doing." I said, "I don't know. I just kind of do it. It's just kind of what I hear." He said, "Well, you're a natural bass player. We got to get you a bass. We'll start a rock and roll band." I said, "Okay." So we went out and we got a bass. This is in the mid-'60s. We got a bass for 50 marks, which is $12.50. I got a bass for $12.50. We all played out of one amplifier, and now I'm playing in a rock and roll band. But this is fun. I started growing my hair a little bit long, and people would say, "Oh, John Lennon, you're John Lennon." I said, "No, I'm not." But Came back to the States, went to the University of Pennsylvania, joined a glee club. I always liked singing harmonies. Uh, Met a guy there who said he had a guitar, I just wound up playing his guitar. I said, "Hey, you're pretty good. You got to meet this other guy in the glee club. He plays guitar and piano. Name is Mark Jordan." So I said, "Okay." So I get together with Mark and we start to play. And he says, "Well, that's great." He said, "We're starting a band. We need a bass player." So I can do that because I had done that in Germany. So now I'm playing bass in this rock and roll band that it's called the Edison Electric Band in Philadelphia, and we actually got to be pretty good. And we played at the Psychedelic Dungeons, and we actually got a record deal on Atlantic Records. And one day we're opening for Procol Harum. Remember Procol Harum? Whiter Shade of Pale. We're opening for them, and this fella came down to manage us, a guy named Dick Waterman, and he managed a lot of blues. Got Buddy Guy and Junior Wells and Mississippi, Fred McDowell, Arthur Big Boy Crudup. And he brought his girlfriend down at the time just to see what she thought of us. And it turns out she was an 18-year-old freshman at Radcliffe named Bonnie Raitt. And so Bonnie really liked the band and she liked the way I played. And we became friends with Dick, and they became friends with the band. And I went to her first show in Philadelphia and watched her kind of say how terrible she was, and she was wonderful. And a couple years later, as my band was breaking up, I got a call from her. She said, "Hey, it's Bonnie. I just got a record deal with Warner Brothers, and I can make it anywhere I want. And I love the way you play bass. I'd like you to come out and play bass on the record, maybe do some shows together." So I said, "Okay." And so I went up to Boston, and we hit it off and wound up making a record, and that wound up lasting for 10 years. And it put me into, the kind of like big time rock and roll. But before that, when I was in the Edison Electric Band, when I started, I was still that kid who was still kind of thinking, what am I supposed to be? I'm still working on who I'm being groomed to be. But during that time, it was the 60s, and I got turned on to LSD. And it was a magical experience for me because it kind of turned me upside down and made me really start to think about things. And on this magical trip, I started thinking, who am I? And what am I supposed to be? And I kind of thought, well, what's the most important thing in life? Sometimes you get, I've always been a kind of a deep thinker. So I was thinking, what's the most important thing in life? And I came up with something that turns out seemed extremely simple, but kind of brilliant. And I thought, well, the most important thing in life is to be happy. And I thought, nah, that's too simple. And the more I thought about it, I thought, no, I want to be happy. So I thought, okay, what makes you happy? What makes you happy is doing what you love to do. And I thought, well, is that, like eating a piece of chocolate? Make you happy for a minute, and I thought, well, I'm playing this rock and roll band, I'm playing bass, I'm playing music, I've always been good at it, I really like it, it makes me happy. So I went one step further and I thought, well, what do you need in life? I thought, well, you need food, clothing, and shelter. Without that, you'll die. But if I can play music, do something that I love, something I'm good at, and make enough money for my food, clothing, and shelter, I have a pretty good chance of being happy. And at that moment, in 1967, 56 years ago, I said, I don't quite know how I got here, although I do, and I just shared it with you. Life's what happens when you're busy making other plans. I said, I think I'm home. I'm going to be a musician the rest of my life because I have the talent, I'm doing it, and I can make, if I really focus, I can make enough money for my food, clothing, and shelter, and that's going to make me happy. And I've been doing that for 56 years, and it's made me happy. So now here I am going off with Bonnie and playing in places like Carnegie Hall and Madison Square Garden, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm there. But all this time, there's something eating at me. I call it a burning, churning, yearning. It's that dis-ease that you have somewhere in your gut, somewhere between your heart and your gut. And it took me years to figure out what that was. And in the 60s, I smoked a lot of pot, and, I did my drinking, and I did everything to kind of get away from my feelings, to hide my feelings, because whenever I'd feel this dis-ease, whatever it was, that kind of helped me out. I never stopped to figure what that was about until years later, and I shared this last night. Until years later, I thought, what's going on with me is I have all these things I'd like to say musically, spiritually, philosophically, and I'm defining myself as a bass player. I'm defining myself ultimately as what's called a shadow artist. I am subservient to whoever's music I'm playing. I'm telling their story, not my story. I had all these musical ideas I wanted to put in, but there's only so much you can do as the bass player. I can't tell the guitar player what to play. I can't tell the singer how to sing it, etc. I can't tell them to change the lyrics to say something that I believe. So I made a conscious decision in my mid-40s, with this burning, churning, yearning going on. I need to start writing songs. That would be the vessel into which I could put all these ideas and express myself. What I didn't realize in terms of spiritual journey, it was my creative child who was screaming to come out. And your creativity to me is the way it's the way we voice our spirit. We're spiritual beings. We're creative. Creative is the way we put it all together. I'm not using any words that I made up. I'm using all the words that I learned for vocabulary, but I'm putting them together in my own way, in thoughts, in feelings, in emotions. And that's what I decided to do. So in my mid-40s, I said, I'm going to start writing songs. I'd like to play a song with you. I'd like to call Alice up, and I'd like to play a song that speaks to that moment when you make that type of a decision, and and uh, and you're filled with fear. It's like, I don't know if I can do this. I think I can, but I don't know. You've never done it before. And the regret of, oh man, I'm 45. I wish I started this when I was 35, 25, 15, and blaming other people. It's not my fault. Till you see your three fingers pointing back at you, it's my fault. So I feel like I somehow summoned up the courage to do that and started writing songs. And I can tell you that in doing that and being up here now and sharing this journey, and last night just sharing my music, it's very simple. It makes me feel better. If it makes you feel better, that's great. That's just icing on the cake. But the bottom line is, for my burning, churning, yearning, it's gone. It's gone. And I think that's really what the spiritual journey, at least mine, I believe I'm not alone, is about, is how do you find who you are? How do you allow your mistakes to be lessons? How do you make that search? How do you have the courage to try a bunch of different things, to look in the mirror, and be honest, to do the work? It's an inside job. Nobody's going to help you from the outside. I mean, you'll get little angels here and there, but ultimately it's like we have to do the work. So I want to share this song about that. Let me make sure I'm in tune here. How you doing, Alice? Y'all doing all right? In terms of spiritual journey, before Alice met me, she never played bass. She said, I can't do that. I said, yes, you can. It's one note at a time. Now she's doing it. So I send this out to all y'all, as they say in the South. Think if you're thinking about doing whatever, or stop doing whatever. If not now, when? When I was a young boy, I had these dreams. The time didn't matter, or so it seemed. Now I'm still a dreamer, like I was back then. But time keeps screaming, if not now, when? Hundreds of heartaches and broken down plans, so many what ifs, and what if I can't? My fear held me captive, caged in a pen. It's time to break free, boy. If not now, when? If not now, when? If not me, who? I can't pretend, 'cause I know it's true. I make this vow, I swear, amen. My time is now, if not now, when? Doubting and blaming, it's time to let them go. 'Cause this healing journey, it can go so slow. But I hear these voices again and again. They keep on calling, if not now, when? If not now, when? If not me, who? I can't pretend, oh no, 'cause I know it's true. I make this vow, I swear, amen. My time is now, if not now, when? It's time to take this leap of faith without a net. Hello to destiny and goodbye regret. Sing along, if not now, when? If not now, when? If not me, who? If not me, who? I can't pretend. I can't pretend, 'cause I know it's true. 'Cause I know it's true. I make this vow. I make this vow. I swear, amen. I swear, amen. My time is now. My time is now. If not now, when? If not now, when? Make this vow, I swear, amen. My time is now, if not now, when? Say it again. If not now, when? One more time. If not now, when? Thank you. Thank you, Alice. So here I am in my 70s. And how did I get here? Whole bunch of mistakes, whole bunch of circumstance, whole bunch of choices. Each choice led to the next one. You know, I think I'm lucky. I'm lucky that I did happen to find it. You know, I was given some good choices, but I had my challenges. So it's a combination of luck and fate, and a little bit of courage, and angels. You know, I've had some good angels around me, and I'm grateful for that. And it kind of makes you think, well, what is your life about? I'm way more than half through my life, and what is this journey about? And we have X amount of time from the time we're born to the time we die, and it's our opportunity to make a statement. And I don't think it's a statement even of you have to become somebody great. I think it's a question you just have to become who you are, and maximize who you are. And and like Maya Angelou once very famously said, it's people never remember, they might not remember what you did, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. So it could be just touching other people. Just how do you become a good person? Uh, how do you find your muse? How do you find what makes you happy? How do you figure things out? And it's all our individual choices. But in the end, you kind of hope that at your funeral, when that day comes, that you left it all on the field, and and I would like to hope that at my funeral that people see me for who I am or who I think I am or what I tried to be, and how hopefully I was successful as a human being on this journey for the time I had. And maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get a standing ovation at my funeral. So I say that out to you. If you want that standing ovation at your funeral, you got to work for it. So I wish you all luck in that, and I'd like to close with a song I wrote. It's called "Standing Ovation," and in this journey for me of becoming a songwriter, I think maybe this is my favorite song I'm most proud of. See, if I was a real rock and roll star, I'd have somebody coming out and give me different guitars that are already in tune. I wouldn't have to do this. No. If life is a comedy, the part that we play is never as clear as it could be. Or maybe a drama, who is to say? But it always turns out as it should be. And if I am a player who's played his part well and did it with humor and grace, when I die, give me a standing ovation, a celebration for a job well done. No need to cry.
Don't you
It's not my final destination. I'll be at the station when the train comes by. You write your own story as the pages unfold, but you're never quite sure of the ending. Maybe it's destiny, maybe it's choice, maybe we're all just pretending. In the tale of a lifetime, if it all comes around and you only receive what you're sending, when I die, give me a standing ovation, a celebration for a job well done. No need to cry.
Don't you
It's not my final destination. I'll be at the station when the train comes by. Some have it easy, some have it all. Some work so hard for so little. We sink to the bottom and we rise to the top, but mostly wind up in the middle. The more we are different, the more we're the same. I'm just one more who's worked through the riddle. And when I die, give me a standing ovation, a celebration for a job well done. No need to cry, it's not my final destination. I'll be at the station when the train comes by. Yes, I will. Oh, yes, I will. Thank you, everybody.
And we're going to have an offering. If we have basket people, we do. Okay. All right. Our offering words are from Kristen Collins, who writes, "We give to remind ourselves how many gifts we have to offer. We give to remember that we are part of something bigger than ourselves. We give because we believe in music and sacred space. We give with the faith that together we have enough." Our offering will be received. Thank you. We are coming to the end of our time together. And if you will look in your order of service, you'll see the words that we say when we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Our benediction is from Philip Randall Giles. May the quality of our lives be our benediction and the blessing to all whom we touch. Postlude.
I really enjoyed being with you today. Thank you for having us. This song has a little refrain in it. When I sing, I feel good, you answer with, I feel good. Let me hear you sing it. I feel good. Let me hear you sing it. I feel good. One more time.
I feel good.
Just like in the Bible, trouble comes along. Things start getting out of hand. You can't tell right from wrong. Samson and Delilah, Cain and Abel too. Everybody's got to do just what they got to do. Well, sometimes it's for nothing, and sometimes it's for real. Sometimes you just know exactly how you feel. And I feel good, I feel good. Let me hear you sing.
I feel good.
Come on, people,
I feel good.
one more time.
I feel good.
Last night I saw a movie where the hero gets the girl. I was sitting with my popcorn. I was in another world. Maybe I'm a dreamer, but this I truly swear. I saw the hero disappear, and it was me up there. Well, sometimes it's for nothing, and sometimes it's for real. Sometimes you just know exactly how you feel. And I feel good.
I feel good.
Said I feel good.
I feel good.
Yeah, sometimes it's for nothing, and sometimes it's for real. Sometimes you just know exactly how you feel. And I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. Feel so good. Just like I knew I would. Feel so good. I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. Feel so good. Here we go, last time. Ready? I feel good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's Alice Howe. I'm Freebo. Thank you all. Thank you, Jeffrey.
Thank you, Freebo and Alice. Freebo, something else to say?
Oh, I was just going to say, we have CDs if you like any of the music you heard. We still have some if you didn't get one last night, or if you just got here today, or please sign our email list, and Alice will be back there while we pack up. But really, thank you so much, everybody. Wonderful.
Okay. And I want to mention this church will not physically be open next Sunday. As the Unitarians here know, we have our cluster service in Salisbury Center next Sunday. Anybody wants to go to Salisbury Center? Any of us will be there. A week from next Sunday, so 2 weeks from today, some folks from the Syracuse Peace Council are going to be here to help us commemorate Hiroshima Day. And again, refreshments. Come and chat, have some refreshments. Freebo, there's no LSD in the punch, is there? No LSD in the punch, is there? Okay. Freebo assures us. Thanks for coming, folks.